have it we'll have it stored and
Yeah,
available for them to for people to look at whatever time.
yeah, it makes it very easy.
Yeah, that's that's all part of the deal.
Yeah, perfect.
And then when we have the show in Turkey that's in person in September, October, then you can tell Cummings you went to Turkey and had a great
Yeah.
time with all
Or
those
does that include a trip on the Bosphorus? Because that's what we did last fall with universities.
That's what I
That's
really
awesome.
want to do.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's very
sounds
exciting.
good.
And my
Yeah.
daughter-in-law is Greek, so we can do both. We can
Oh,
do Turkey and we can do Greece at the same time.
that'd be
And I've
great.
got a high school contact there as well.
No, seriously.
No, we
One of
have
my
an
former
alliance with
students has
counselors, independents in Greece. And
one of my former students runs the biggest yacht charter program in Greece.
there you
It's
go.
called Valef Yachts, Valef.
Yeah, but also Andrea is that we're in an alliance of counselors and Katya in Italy. So if you wanted high schools in
We have
students,
it Greece. We have lots of ways to have fun and make money at the same time.
That's the perfect balance.
Jack will tell you. I mean, he's good at that. Yeah, we can go to Jeju Island in Korea. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
St. Johnsbury's right there.
Yeah. Do you play golf?
merhabalar. Ben böyle İngilizce konuşuyoruz. Biz böyle birileri daha gelsin diye bekliyoruz. Maybe we should konuşmak isterseniz siz de katılın. Ne olursunuz Türkçe'ye çevirebiliriz yani.
It's 11 now. Yeah.
Tuğçe Hanım, give it a couple minutes.
Yeah, we should probably give it a couple minutes. It's okay. We're going to record it anyhow. We left some time after. That's fine. Yeah, do you get to Korea at all, Brendan?
I haven't been there for probably close to 2 years now, but we the school goes every single year.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You have
And Dave
Turkish
Yeah,
Antana with
students?
you.
constantly there as well, so on Jeju Island.
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah.
Turkish students?
Currently, right now, yes, we have one current student from Turkey, and it kind of fluctuates as well. So at the peak, we'll have probably close to like 3 to 5, maybe 6, but then it does drop off a little bit as well. So it's kind of a fluctuating market for us.
How are they doing? Are they like, do you know?
Yeah, very successful. A lot more in the mathematics. So we have a math counts competition, which goes around and competes throughout the whole United States. And we rank pretty high on the math counts, and he does very well.
It's great.
Yeah.
So maybe one more minute.
Yeah. Brandon, do you have a PowerPoint presentation? Will
I
you share
do.
the screen?
Yep.
Great.
Would you like
Maybe
to
we can,
share?
yeah, we can test it now. Yeah, before we start. Great. Starting with the feast.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we see the screen. Great.
Perfect. Awesome.
We'll be right back.
These Vermonters are prepared. They're ready to go.
Always got to be.
Yeah,
You never know if it's gonna snow or pour rain or have
that's
beautiful
right.
sunlight out there. So you got to be prepared for everything.
That's why you got boarding to start with. Yep, there's a reason for everything. Yeah. You can't get home. You better stay here because we want you tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
Maybe I should start the session, right?
Sure, go ahead.
Because they also join. Hi, Brandon. Thank you for being with us today. Before just we begin, I would like to greet the parents' Turkish audience in Turkish, if you don't mind. Then we will continue in English. Herkese merhabalar. Çok teşekkürler katıldığınız için. Bugün bizimle St. Johnsbury Akademi var. Birkaç kişi daha gelecek. Onları da bekliyoruz. Kayıt almaya başladık. Birazdan 1-2 dakika içerisinde sözü veriyor olacağım. Sorularınız olursa sunumun sonunda sorabilirsiniz ya da chat kısmına ekleyebilirsiniz. Şimdiden biz Türkçe'de ekleyebilirsiniz. Tercümesiyle iletebiliriz. Direkt mikrofonu açıp sorabilirsiniz sorularınızı. bu okulla ilgili sormak istedikleriniz varsa zaten küçük bir grup olarak buradayız. O yüzden direkt sormanızda da hiçbir sakınca yok. E, Herkese şimdiden çok teşekkürler. Şimdi İngilizceye çeviriyorum. Birkaç dakika daha bekleyelim. Evet. I would like to introduce our guest, Brandon Hughes, from St. Johnsbury Academy. They are with us today to tell us more about St. Johnsbury, their academic profile and community. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk about St. Johnsbury Academy. Like she just said, my name is Brendan Hughes. I'm Associate Director of Admissions here at St. Johnsbury Academy. I've been here for about 7. I'm working on my 8th year now. But I also graduated from the school as well. So I was there as a student. So I went through 9th through 12th grade and then went on to college and then moved back here about in 2017. So I'm excited. I know the school from a very personal place, and it's an amazing opportunity for all students who go there between the academics as well as your social life, the connections that you'll make between all the different 30 different countries that we represent. So I'm very excited to kind of give you a more in-depth look at St. Johnsbury Academy. But to start, so St. Johnsbury Academy is a co-education, so both male and female school in northern Vermont. We are boarding as well as a day school. So we have about 200 boarders who live there on campus within the boarding program. Between 9 different dorms, and then we have a day school population that has about 700 students or so who live in the surrounding area and will commute there during the day. Everything is mixed, so within the classrooms, on the sports fields, and the clubs, all of that stuff. So you'll get to know everybody very, very well when you're there on campus. So it's a great kind of environment to meet local students, but also students from all over the world as well. And we are just high school, 9th through 12th grade, as well as postgrad. So if they do graduate in Turkey, you would be able to come as a postgraduate and have a year abroad before going on to college and university, if that's something that you're interested in as well. But for St. Johnsbury Academy, this is where we're located in northern Vermont. It is about a 3-hour drive away from Boston, Massachusetts. So that's kind of the closest international airport that many people commute to and will fly to. We have representatives who are there to pick you up as well as drop you off at the airport. So it makes it very easy if you just go to Boston. We also have that service available for Burlington, which is the closest airport to our campus as well. So that's about an hour and a half drive. Still in Vermont, is one of our biggest cities here in Vermont. Asterisk on city, it's about like 100,000, 150,000 who live there in Burlington, but it's a very easy airport to get a connecting flight to. So that's also a very easy connecting port that you can fly to our campus. But Vermont is constantly ranked one of the #1 safest states in Vermont, so or in the United States. So it's very safe, and we're kind of in the safest part of the state as well. So you're in the safest area probably in all of the United States when you really look at it, and it's very beautiful as well. So we really focus on our outdoor recreation here in the area. So there's a lot of skiing and snowboarding during the winter time. We're very close to a ski mountain. It's about a 20-minute drive away from campus. And so that season usually starts around December for skiing and snowboarding and will end around like end of April or so. And so it gives you plenty of time to go skiing and snowboarding. But during the warmer months, there's a lot of hiking, mountain biking, kayaking, a lot of things to do outdoors as well. And the fall is particularly beautiful with all the leaves changing color here in the area. And this is what our whole campus looks like here. So it is rather large. So we have about 40 different buildings that incorporate our whole campus. And so it's almost like a college or a university style campus that each building has their own set of classes. So for example, if you look at like number 6 here, that's our math building. Number 3 is our English building. 15 is our cafeteria as well as our sciences and engineering. And so depending on what your schedule is, you'll be walking in between each of these buildings to go to your classes. And so that's why it's very similar to a college or university style campus. And because of our facilities, we're able to offer a lot for our students. So we have over 200 courses that students can choose from and build into their schedule. So there's a lot of availability for learning what you want to learn and prepare yourself for the next step. So whether you're going to college or university or right into the workforce or community service, anything like that. Up here in the top right-hand corner is where all of our male dorms are located. So number 9, 10, 12, and 11. And then down here in the bottom right-hand is where most of our female dorms are located. So like 25, 18, 23, 27. And so that's kind of the separation between the two there. But to talk more in depth about our academic offerings, so like I said before, we do offer over 200 courses that students get to choose from and build into their schedule. So you're really taking things that interest you and what you want to learn. We're very strong in our sciences as well as engineering. We have a lot of different art classes, over 40 different art classes. And so there's quite the array that you can kind of pick and choose from. Obviously, preparing yourself for college and university. So there's some mandatory courses that you'll need to take. But then outside of that, there's a lot of elective spots where you can really dedicate your time to something new and see what you like and what you don't like, or pursue something that you already know you like to do to a high level as well. But as you look at our size, so our campus, because we have about 900 to 1,000 students on campus, it is rather large, but everything academically is kept very small and personalized. So our average class size is about 12, and then our student to teacher ratio is 8 students to 1 teacher. So it's really personalized learning, but then there's about 900 students you can get to know and meet from all over the world as well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in that sense. That you really have an opportunity to make a lot of connections there on campus, but then have a lot of personal time and instruction for your classes. We have a very high level of teaching staff here on campus as well. So more than 70% of them have a advanced degrees, so either a master's or a doctorate in their certain area of study. So they really have a lot of knowledge to pass on to the students, and they are super dedicated to allowing those students to flourish and learn within their classroom. So we're very honored to have them, such a high level of teaching staff there on campus. And this is what our kind of curriculum looks like a little bit. So between each grade, so our 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you'll have 2 semesters. So we run on 2 semesters throughout the school year. The first one starting in August and going until about December. Second one starting in January and going until about June. And for each of these semesters, you'll do 4 classes out of 5 blocks. And that 5th block is always reserved for a study hall or a free period where you can work on your homework throughout the day. And so for each semester, you're solely focused more on those 4 classes. And then when you come back in the second semester, it's almost like starting a whole new school year over again. You'll take all new classes in that second semester. So for the whole school year, you'll do about 8 classes. Obviously, that kind of fluctuates depending on if you're taking like AP classes, for instance, but for the most part, you'll do about 8 classes every single school year. And so to talk about our offerings here, we do have over 30 different advanced placement courses, and this ranges from many different disciplines between English learning to languages, our sciences or engineering, art. So there's a lot of different advanced placement courses that you can certainly pick and choose from and build into your schedule. We're also one of the first schools to indoctor an AP capstone diploma program. And so this takes in consideration all of the AP courses that you'll take through us, as well as a year-round research project in your senior year that proves academic success. And so through this program, our students are going to very premier schools after they graduate with this diploma. So we have a student this year going to Harvard. We have students that have been going to Ivy Leagues like Cornell, Dartmouth, Berkeley over in California. So we have a very prestigious kind of academic group that are going to these very high level colleges and universities. So you'll be prepared very well for that next step that you're taking within your academic learning. And one of the ways to do that is through this program that we offer, getting that extra certification on top of the diploma from St. Johnsbury Academy. Talking more about our signature programs here outside of the AP Capstone Diploma program, we do have a very strong applied sciences and STEM intensive there on campus where students can really take a couple different concentrations. So the first one is that we offer a really strong engineering and design program where students are learning how to code. We have robotics. There's a CNC milling unit and kind of learning space where you can make things out of CAD and then obviously mill them out in our machines. So there's a lot of great specific programming and engineering classes that they can take. We also have a very strong biomedical and health program there on campus as well, where students who are interested in becoming a nurse or a doctor or anything in the medical field, they can take a lot of specialty classes like biotechnical engineering or anatomy and physiology, and then also shadow doctors in the field so they can get a lot of real world experience as well before going on to pre-med programs after they graduate with us. So that's a very strong and popular program that we offer as well. And then we also have a concentration in sustainability studies where you're learning about the environment, learning about the world, taking time to learn about botany or solar panel engineering. So there's a lot of things that you can really adapt to within that program that goes on to environmental studies within college and universities. So that's a very cool one that we offer as well. Outside of the sciences, we do have a lot of classes to choose from in our arts intensive. So like I said earlier, we do have over 40 different fine and performing arts that students can choose from, ranging from many different things like our fashion design program, where students are learning how to design their own clothes and make it out of fabric. There's a huge fashion show at the end of the semester, so it's a big event on campus. All the students go to it. It's a lot of fun. We have ballet or different dance classes. We have clay, pottery, printmaking, a lot of orchestra options like band and guitar, violin. So there's a lot of different art classes that they can certainly pursue to a high level. So they can also take it as an introductory course and kind of supplement it with their other studies, or they can pursue this to a high level and will help them throughout their whole portfolio and applying to colleges and universities as well. One of the great things that are in our arts program that you can certainly adapt to many different classes is our graphic design, which is a very popular class, as well as filmmaking, so learning how to direct and make your own movies. So there's a lot of different art classes that you can certainly dive into, both in the technical world as well as free form and with your hands as well. Outside of that, and like Lloyd was talking about, we do have a very strong technical and career intensive here on campus. And so these are very kind of more specific trade courses that students can take, supplement into their schedule, or pursue to a high level as well. Our culinary program is vast. So they start with like introductory to culinary, where they're learning how basic knife skills or cooking or baking. And then they can go on to culinary 1 and culinary 2. As a culinary 2 student, you actually work in an off-campus restaurant that the school runs, and people go there for lunch as well. So you get a lot of experience hosting as well as serving, but also cooking in the kitchen for that whole menu. So you get a lot of experience in restaurants within our culinary program, and many of them will go on to culinary school after they graduate with us. But outside of culinary, we also have really strong electrical construction, where you're learning how to wire electrical units inside buildings. We have welding or auto body, where students are learning to work on engines or the outside of the car as well. We have woodworking construction too, so there's a lot of different trade-based courses that students can certainly dive into, take it as a hobby, or pursue it as a kind of craft as well. Within our languages as well, so we do offer 4 levels of ESL. So this accommodates a large variety of English speaking ability before students get there on campus. So even if the students think their English is too low, we can usually accommodate them on our campus, and they can be very successful there on campus as well. So because of this program and how in-depth it is, we don't require any sort of English test for them to be accepted to our school. If you do have one, like an SSAT or a TOEFL, you can certainly submit that with your application, but it's not a requirement. We're pretty comfortable that you'll be able to learn English and no matter what your level is there on campus. And so it's a very strong program for us. But then outside of English, if you are interested in learning a third language, we do have French, Spanish, Latin, and Japanese that students can choose from as well to learn another language while they're there on campus. And this is one area that I think the school really excels in. And that's our level of care that's available for all of our students. And so we have a really strong learning support section there on campus that's always open throughout the school day so they can get some extra help. And so one thing that's important for us is that they're challenged in the classroom, but not overwhelmed. And so that's a huge kind of focus of ours to make sure that they are getting all of the support that they need. So even if they're not pursuing it in their own time of getting extra help, somebody will take notice if we see grades are slipping and provide that help for them regardless of them pursuing it on their own. Because a lot of times they just need that extra nudge just to be very successful within the classroom. And so people are taking notice. They will monitor their grades. And so there's always a lot of learning support that's available for them there on campus. In addition to this program, we also have a really robust guided studies program where students can learn how they best learn there on campus. So it teaches study techniques and how to best retain information. And so that's something that they can really carry with them for the rest of their lives as well. So that's a main focus of ours, and they will be well supported within their academics there on campus and in any area that they look for support. But so outside of the academics, we want our students to be well-rounded. So there's a lot of other opportunities for them outside of our classes. Within our athletic program, we do compete in the Division I, which is the highest level of athletics in the United States. So we compete against the largest high schools in our area. And we range from 3 different seasons here. So we have a fall, winter, and spring sports season throughout the school year. And so you can see all these different sports that we offer. Based on time commitment, you can only do 1 sport per season, but you could do 3 sports across the school year if you would like to, because of that time restraint. And we are pretty competitive within our sports. We do constantly come back with a lot of state championship wins. I would say probably our most competitive is anything running. So cross country during the fall, indoor track and field, and then outdoor track and field during the winter or the springtime. Those are the ones that kind of come back with the most state championship wins, as you can see from this list here. But you can see we've also won tennis in the past, basketball, alpine skiing. And so there's a lot of different other sports that are also very competitive for us as well. And this is what our sports facility looks like. So this is utilized by all of our students there on campus. And we are going through a capital campaign to raise money to refurbish this whole facility. And so in the short term, it will be all brand new for the students, a wellness center that will be dedicated for the students to have kind of spaces for them to not only work out and kind of prepare their physical body, but there's also a lot of opportunities for them to hang out with each other, play sports, maybe recreational sport or video games, stuff like that. So there'll be like common areas in there as well for the students to participate in during their free time as well. This is what it looks like currently. And we do have 5 athletic fields across the campus, ranging from both grass as well as AstroTurf. And we do have the lights, so it's very cool for those sports to play under the lights during a night game as well, so that we do have that opportunity for them. And then outside of our sports, we do have a lot of clubs and activities that we offer for the students as well. So even if they didn't want to do a sport, we do have some sort of requirement to do something after school. So it doesn't have to be a sport, but it could be any of these clubs or activities that we offer as well. And there's a wide range of different things that they can certainly choose from, both academic-based or kind of like knowledge-based, like our Science Olympiad, which is kind of like a quiz bowl. But then there's also a lot of physical ones as well if you want to do our workout club or meditation, anything like that. Our Dungeons and Dragons is actually very popular as well because of the TV show. But then they have a lot of members going on to play the board game as well, which is kind of cool. Something I would like to point out as well, so one of these clubs is called X Block, which you'll see down here in the bottom right hand. And X Block is an extra class that students can take after school. And so if they didn't have something or room for something in their schedule that they really wanted to take, there would be an opportunity for them to possibly take that after school as well. And still get credit for it. So that's something that we do offer in addition to all of these other clubs and activities that they can choose from. And talking briefly about our boarding life here, so we do have a really robust orientation that all of the new students will go through. You'll meet a lot of our student leaders who have been there for a year or so, or more. And so you get to build those relationships with people who have already been there on campus, but also get to meet all the other new students that will be moving in that same time as well. They'll do activities with each other, like a ropes course competition or going hiking, going to see the surrounding area of Vermont. So there's a lot of kind of socializing time and doing activities with each other during orientation, as well as learning about the campus and the community. We do have a dress code, so it's not like a uniform where everyone looks the same, but it's more about looking professional when you go to classes. And so these are kind of a representation of our different dress codes here. Basically, no jeans, no leggings, no sweatpants. It needs to be more like business casual, so like dress pants or khakis, something like that. Anything with a collar, so like a dress shirt, a polo shirt, something in that realm, a sweater, no sweatshirts that have a hood. So this is basically so you can go all out and wear a suit and tie like this dapper young gentleman here is wearing, or you can just wear something a little bit more casual like a dress shirt and a sweater. And this is what a normal weekday schedule kind of looks like. So waking up in the morning, going to breakfast. One of the kind of confusing things is what we call chapel. Chapel has nothing to do with religion. So I know it's kind of strange because we're called St. Johnsbury, but that is because of the town that we're located in, not a religious affiliation. So we have no religious affiliation, but we do have this thing called chapel in the morning, which is just a morning meeting. So basically you listen to the headmaster talk. There's announcements that are read, like your class is being held in the library to do research, so you know exactly where you need to go for your classes. But that's how we start every single school day with what we call chapel. And so it's a great way to kind of build our community there on campus and keep everybody connected before going on to classes after chapel. So that's something that we start our school day with every single day. And so after chapel, that's when all those classes begin. So depending on what those 4 classes that you chose to have for that semester, you'll be going to those classes during that time. And then depending on what you have in the middle of the day, so what we call C block, that's when you'll be going to lunch as a class. And so you'll go to lunch in the middle of the day, depending on what your schedule is for that middle class. Classes end right around like 2:40, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when conference period begins. And like I talked about before about getting those extra academic supports, conference period is a very important component of that because it allows all of our staff members to maintain or be in their classrooms or in their offices to be available for students to ask one-on-one questions with them. So if they have any trouble with their homework or there's a big test coming up, they can have that personal time with their teachers then. And really ask the questions that they need to be successful within the classroom. So that is something that is very helpful for those students to have that one-on-one time with their teachers. And that's technically a part of our school day. So usually it's optional unless the teacher asks them to come, then it's not optional. They have to go to conference period. After conference period, that's when all of those sports, the activities, practices, games, depending on what you're choosing to do in the afternoon time, that would be between like 3:30 and 5. Dinner starts at 5:30, which I know can be very early, especially for many different cultures across the world. But it does run between 5:30 and their free time as well. So they can choose when to go to dinner when they want to. And so it just starts at 5:30. They also have free time between 6 o'clock and 8, where they can socialize with their friends, maybe walk into town. There's a lot of opportunities in town, like going to see a movie, something like that. And then they have to be back at their dorm for evening study hall around 8 o'clock. And then they have another hour of free time where they can't leave campus. They have to stay on campus and then be winding down for the night back in their dorm room with the lights off around 11 o'clock at night. And so that's a normal weekday schedule between Monday and Friday. On the weekend, it's basically all free time for them, depending on what they want to dedicate their time to. So we want to make sure it's relaxing for them so that they're recharged again for Monday. But there's a couple different ways that they can dedicate their time on the weekend. I kind of boil this down to 3 different options that they have. The first is that they can always stay on campus. There's a lot of different events that we host on campus between activities on the green spaces. There'll be some of their friends will be participating in sports so they can go cheer on their friends. There might be like a movie night or a dance night, something like that. So they can always go to those events that we host on campus. So that's kind of the first option. The second is that we live in a very safe town, like I talked about before, St. Johnsbury, and it's about a 5-10 minute walk to go into the downtown from our school, and they're welcome to do so on the weekend. They just have to sign out of the dorm and say, my friends and I are going To the restaurant, we'll be back in 2 hours, and so they can go into the town. There's a lot of opportunities for them in the town between many different restaurants. There's coffee shops, there's a movie theater, there's a bowling alley. There's a lot of things to do, maybe live music, stuff like that. So they can certainly go into the town during their free time as well. So that's kind of the second option. The third is that we offer some sort of trip every weekend as well. And so they can choose to go on those excursion trips to maybe the ski mountain during the winter time, or going hiking, a professional sports game, going to see Boston, Massachusetts for the day, something like that. So they can always choose to sign up and go on those excursion trips on the bus on the weekend as well. So again, there's a lot of different options. They'll never be bored. There's always something going on for them to do. And speaking of trips, so during longer breaks, we do have trips that are available for the students, and our dorms partially closed. So if there's some sort of reason for them to stay on campus between like maybe a sports obligation, something like that, they can certainly stay on campus. But then outside of that, majority of our students will choose to go on some sort of trip that we offer. And so the longer breaks for our first semester, there's one long break for American Thanksgiving. And so that's at the end of November, and that's about a week long. There's 2 long breaks in our second semester. One is our winter break in February, which is also about a week long. And then there's our spring break in April, which is also about a week long as well. And so during those longer breaks, we have trips to some of the major domestic cities in the United States, like Miami, Florida, or New York City, Boston, Massachusetts, Providence, Rhode Island. So they can go on those trips that we're offering during that time. They can certainly return home or stay with a friend as well. But majority of the students will go on a trip or stay there on campus. And so they can certainly choose to go on those trips. In between the 2 semesters, so at the end of December going into January, is a really long break. It's about 4 weeks long before they have to move back onto campus in January. And we really encourage them to go home and see their family, see their friends. And so we don't offer a trip during that time. We really want them to see their family and then come back refreshed in January. And so we don't offer a trip during that time, but our dorms fully closed during that time as well. And these are what our dorms look like. And so the dorms range in size. So our largest has about 45 students who live there. Our smallest has about 20 or 3 compared to one of the female dorms that we have. And so they range in size in that regard. They do maintain the age. So like they'll be with similar age students. So in the same grade that they are. So all the 10th graders will most likely be together on the 9th graders. And all of our rooms are either doubles or singles. So we would only have, so for their first year there, they will have a roommate. And they'll pair them with a non-native speaker of themselves for that time. So for your students, they will either be with like a student from the United States, from Germany, from Mexico, something like that. So they can practice their English with each other, but also learn about another culture while they're there. And then as they progress throughout their years here at St. Johnsbury Academy, they can choose their top 3 locations where they want to be on campus, as well as their roommate, or if they're a student leader, they can choose to have a single as well. And then all the dorms do have proctors who live there with the students, so they're always available 24/7 if they ever need anything. We also have a really strong nursing staff there on campus, and so we have 4 in-house nurses as well as 4 in-house counselors that are available to talk to the students if they ever need any sort of counseling. And for the nursing staff as well, there's always somebody who's on staff late at night as well and is on call. So if they are waking up at 3 in the morning and they're not feeling well, there's always somebody who can step in and really help take care of them during that time. And then these are what the female dorms look like here. They're a little bit more decorated than the male dorms are as well. And then this is what a normal size room for 2 people kind of looks like. So very spacious. We provide all the furniture that they would need. They're welcome to bring in other stuff as well to kind of make the space their own, but this is what an average size room for 2 people kind of looks like. So I know that was a lot of information, but do you have any questions, anything specifically that I can answer for you? I'm happy that I had a chance to kind of dive in deeper about St. Johnsbury Academy, but I'm sure there's some specific questions that I can certainly answer for you as well.
Do you happen to know which high schools that your Turkish students might have come from?
Oh, in Turkey?
Yeah, I mean,
I would have to look at that.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
certainly send that information over to you.
No, I just thought the parents here might want to know, but that no big
Uh,
deal.
yeah,
Are you still looking at applications, Brendan?
we
Any
are.
space
So there is,
available?
yeah, so there is still room available. It is closing as well. So especially like in the 10th grade. So 10th grade boys is pretty tight right now, but most of the other classes we can certainly accommodate applications
Okay.
for. The one thing too to kind of consider is that we're running very low on financial aid as well. So we don't offer scholarships. We only offer financial aid based
Mhm.
on need, not merit. And so if they are looking for financial aid, that kind of budget is slowly diminishing. So making sure they're getting their applications in quickly will give them best opportunities for that as well. But we can certainly accommodate any sort of applications that students are looking for.
Mhm. A good question from a parent. Oh, wow, a few questions. Do you guys control for drug or alcohol use?
Yes, yes, we do. So, for the most part, we are a no chance school. So, if there's any sort of incidents that come up between substance abuse or alcohol, anything of that regard, we will ask them to leave campus. And that's kind of one of the difference between St. Johnsbury Academy and many other schools that are a day school. We have no requirements for them to stay there on campus. So, we want to make sure that they are very prideful to be a part of St. Johnsbury Academy. And if there's any sort of regard that's outside of our handbook or anything that we hold for a high standard for our students, we can ask them to leave. And so it's kind of a main separation between us and many other schools that have a big day component. But there is a zero tolerance for those types of things. The only time that they will be allowed back in is if they become honest, they talk about the whole experience, they take precautions to not choose those types of things again and use it as a learning opportunity. So that would be the only chance that they might have a second chance to remain there on campus, but for the most part, they will be asked to leave.
Thanks, Brandon. There is one more question in the chat box. Which universities are your graduates accepted generally? Do universities know your school? They are asking.
Yeah, so we take a lot of ownership within the application process for college. And so the way that's kind of organized is that we have a guidance officer who's assigned to all of the students. And so we have about five guidance officers who are in that office, and then they oversee about like 20 or so per grade. And so they do a couple different things. So the first thing that they do is that they meet with students one-on-one before the classes begin, and they help throughout the whole scheduling process. So making sure that they're taking classes they need for graduation, as well as classes that they may find interesting or things that will fit into their schedule. And so they help through that whole process. But in addition to that, they get to know them very well as an academic learner, and then they help them through all of their college applications as well. And so, like I said before, we take a lot of ownership in that. So we will help them throughout getting their letters of recommendation, their applications together, talk about which institutions might be best fit for them, and kind of strategize maybe what a reach school might look like between a middle grade to a safety school, for instance. So they'll kind of strategize all of those different options for the student. And we want to make sure that they're the best applicant they can be once that time comes. So again, having that one-on-one time with somebody who is really coaching them through it is very helpful. But we do have a lot of relationships with many different schools, especially high-level schools. This next coming year, we have a very prestigious list of where our students are going to, including schools like Harvard and Ivy Leagues. And so very often there'll be students who are going to those very high-level schools like MIT, Cornell, Dartmouth, Harvard. But then we also want to make sure it's the best fit for them as well. So maybe they're not looking for those higher level schools. Maybe they're looking for like a sports program or a collegiate level athlete. And so there's a lot of opportunities for them to really hone in on different coaches as well and go that avenue too. So we have students who are looking for all those different opportunities, and we help them throughout that whole process too.
That's great. Thank you.
So it's incredible because in Turkey, to get into some of the very selective high schools, you take a national test and you score, X,
Mhm.
and you pay $40,000 to $50,000. today's fees. And then nobody gets into Harvard. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
certainly it's a strange process, but especially when you're here in a United States high school and kind of going through those major
Yeah.
kind of finish line opportunities there at the actual high school, it makes getting into those higher level schools a lot more easy because one, we're helping them throughout that whole application process, but two, they have a lot of those boxes already checked because they've been here for a year or two, learning English and doing all that kind of stuff as well.
And at what grade does your college counseling start?
Right when they get there on campus. So if it's ninth grade, then it's ninth grade.
Okay. Typically in Turkey at the private schools, you talk to them, when you're in 12th grade, maybe like once or twice when you're in 11th grade, and that's it.
Yeah.
A big
And
difference. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And especially for our process here, because they're working with them for their scheduling for their classes, they
Hmm.
really get to know them right at day one as a ninth grader and can really strategize the different classes that they're taking every single year. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of strategize and look ahead. Maybe as a ninth grader, you might not know exactly what you want to do, but once you become an 11th grader, you should have a pretty good understanding of what your goals are and where you're going. And that's one of the best things about our school is that you can really try out a lot of different things and get to know that what you're interested in, what you want to do at a younger age.
I'm guessing you have a fairly solid list of colleges that come and visit the campus as well and do presentations that kids can sign up for. How does that
Yeah.
work, Brendan?
Yeah, so that's done through our guidance office as well. And so we have a lot of representatives who do come to campus to talk to the students. And so a lot of the times the information is sent to their email, but they also hear about it in chapel. So that big morning meeting that we have.
Right.
And so they'll say representatives from MIT, from Northwestern are here today. If you would like to hear from them, they'll be in this classroom here or something like that. So especially the upperclassmen, so the 11th and
Right.
12th graders, they're really looking for those announcements and are making it a point to go and meet with those representatives.
Good way to get known. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. Any other
Any
questions?
more questions?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that we were able to kind of talk and get to know the school a little bit more. So thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much